All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through a series of video presentations for the AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies class here at Rankin. And I've been going through this Mozilla Developer Network series on Learn Web Development, and I'm almost through with the first part of Structuring the Web, Introduction to HTML. As you can see, this first part contains several lessons, and I've gone through all of them except for the last two. I'm not going to go through the marking up a letter, but I am on the assessment structuring a page of content. And as they mention here, structuring a page of content, it says structuring a page of content ready for laying it out using CSS is an important skill to master. So in other words, what we want to do is we want to get this ready. We want to put all of our content out there so that we're going to be able to come in and use CSS on it. All right. So it says to get this assessment, you should go grab the zip file containing all of the starter assets. I've already done that. It says this contains the HTML you need to add to your markup. So this is the HTML that's in there as far as I could tell. It's right there. Not a whole heck of a lot, but you can see it. And if you're not aware of this already, you can always right mouse click and choose View Page Source to see the stuff that's in here. So you can see we brought in the Roboto. Taking from the top, we've got our doc type statement, our HTML tag, our head tag, one meta tag, which sets our char set. Here's our title. We're linking in or using the Roboto font from Google Fonts. This in here is known as a hack. And basically what it's saying is if you're using version IE less than IE9, basically if you have any kind of problems understanding the tags, for lack of better words, kind of at least, ignore them. Here's our body. So we've got this dove.ping, that was the big picture. Here is our navigation area. There's a title, so we've got our big title is bird watching, our subtitle is welcome, and as it says, welcome to our fake bird watching site. Let's put this on, well, we can't do that on here, that's right. And here are a bunch of links, and that's really about it so far. So if we look at this, I don't have it up in here, all right, or in here, so let's see. There it is. It's called Assets. And it says that there is a CSS file in there. So let's look at that. And there's quite a few things in there, believe it or not. So let's start by adding this CSS file. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to leave these. Now, for what I'm about to do, my program is going to break. Why? Because I'm going to come in here and first I'm going to put in a CSS folder. And I'm going to grab my style.css and I'm going to move it there. Next, I'm going to go in and I'm going to create an images folder. This is where it's going to break because none of these are pathed to an images folder, but they will be shortly. So if I look at it now, it's going to look a lot different. You can see I just get a bunch of, there are no pictures, but we're going to fix that literally right now. Okay, so. And it says my CSS file isn't in here anymore. Do I want to keep it in the editor? Let's just say no for now. All right, so let's start making some changes in here. Again, I should really be in Visual Studio Code, and I'm not. So CSS/style. And where was that? That H1 tag. We had some images in here, so I'm going to make sure that all of the images that we have in here as well this is semantic. This is not the one I was working on, I do not think. So let me get rid of this. Sure. That was the Rush one. These are all fine. So I thought I had, I did not literally open this. So let's just open it with Notepad. All right, so this will now become images/dove. Okay. The source here will be images, 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 images. Now, as far as I know, that should just about fix everything. No. Let me double click on it. There's the bird watching. There's our pictures. Good. All right. Now, you'll notice that there's no CSS because we didn't put in the line that linked our CSS. So let's do that next. And, you know, sometimes when you go through this stuff, you get a little squirrely about the way you do things. And I'm just as guilty of it as anyone else. But I don't like style because these are multiples. So I'm going to change mine to styles right there. And I'm going to link to my styles. So let's put it here. Link rel equals style sheet href equals css/styles.css. Now let's see what we changed it to. So you just saw what it looked like. Not real much. But by adding our styles, okay, you can see we've got a little bit of shadow there. There that is. Getting started. Welcome. Our favorite photos. It by no means is perfect, but it looks a little nicer. Well, I guess draw your own conclusions right now. So jumping back then. All right, so it says the zip file contains the HTML. You've seen that. The CSS, you've seen that. We didn't really go over it yet, but we will. The images used on the page. So create the example on your computer or use CodePen or something else, fine. For this project, your task is to take the content for the homepage of a birdwatching website and add structural elements to it so that the page layout can at least eventually be applied to it. All right. So it says we want a header that spans the full width of the site and contains the main title, the logo, and the navigation menu. So let's do this first. The title and the logo appear side by side once styling is applied, and the navigation should appear below the two items. So in other words, the first thing we want to do is we want to come into our code here, and we want to find, so this is going to be our navigation area. Okay, and one more time it said that we are supposed to have in it the main title, the logo, and the menu. So there's the main title. So let's put this into a header. All right, so there's the main title, there's the logo, and there is the menu. All right, so that's the first thing that we were supposed to do, was to add this header, which again, the header encompassed our main title, our main image or logo, and our navigation area. So that was the first thing. So one down. A main content area containing two columns, a main block to contain the welcome text, and a sidebar for the thumbnails. All right, so next we want to add our main, which is going to be here. And again, we were told that our main will have in it the block for the welcome text and the sidebar for the image thumbnails. So that's that, and the thumbnails, etc., are right there. So this will end our main area. And then finally, this will be our footer here. And as it says, the footer will contain the copyright information and credits. There's the beginning of our footer. There's the end of our footer. Now, try to pretty this up just a little bit. That I can't do much with. Again, this is what I'm doing right now. It's all a matter of personal preference. I'm putting it like this because I think it makes it much easier to read. If you don't agree, don't do it. I think, again, that that particular paragraph is now much easier to read. All right, and again, don't have to do this, but move all this over just a little bit. I think it'll make it much easier in the end, at least for me to see. Not much more I can do with that in there. So I can put the A tag on its own line, but that's about it. All right, again, doing what I'm doing right now is not going to change the look and feel of this site one lick. All right. In fact, I don't think any of the changes that I've made this far are really going to much change the way the site looks. We'll see in just a moment here. Almost finished. Like I said, my guess is this is going to look pretty doggone much the way it did look. So let's check. So we started with that. We removed the stuff, and we had this. So now I'm going to, oh, it does look different. Okay. By no means is it correct yet, or perfect, or anything else. Well, look at that. That doesn't look very good. Okay, so we're going to have to make a bunch of changes, but getting there a little bit. Okay. All right, let's see what it tells us here. You'll need a suitable wrapper, so we put in the header. We put, do we have the nav in there for the navigation? I don't know, so I'm going to put it in just in case we didn't. No, we don't, so I'm going to put this into a nav. Again, I always like to see afterwards if that changed anything. And you can see it brought that down, so that looks better. Still have to work on these, but that's okay. All right, it's already at least a little bit. Oh, here we go. So there's 100%. So looks like we've got our heading area looks okay, but this area definitely needs some work in here. So let's take a look and see what they told us to do in here, because I'm sure I'm missing something. Should apply the CSS. We did that. All right. So use the checker to catch any unintended mistakes. You don't need to know any CSS to do this. Provided CSS. Okay. If you're getting stuck, draw out a simple block diagram. Well, it looks like it's supposed to look like this, and you can see it definitely does not. So let's see. The image should be in a sidebar. So let's grab those images that we had, which are right here, and let's try to put those into an aside. Well, now I've lost everything, but this looks pretty good. All right, again, sure doesn't look perfect, but it's getting there. aside. Oops. Okay. Well, I mean, it's quite obvious when you look through this that I'm missing something. All right, so we've got all that. Let's see, there's an aside. What it might look like after being marked up. Well, let's look at that, and let's look at what we have. This, again, should look pretty much the same as this, except you can see the stuff that's in here. This looks like it's bolded, so the font looks different, so I'm not sure if my font is being applied, but it must be, because the way this looks at bird watching, etc., is the way mine looks. All right. This definitely is not working. Let's see if the stuff that's in here, you can tell this should be down here because that's the footer, so a lot of the stuff is not being rendered correctly. There is a way to cheat on this, not that I'm advocating cheating, but I should be able to right mouse click on here. Oh, it's an image, so I'm not sure if I can do that or not. Put your work into there, write a post, descriptive title, details of what you tried, a link to the example, a link to the actual or assessment page. Well, let's take a quick look into our styles file here. HTML, body, H123, header area, body area. All right, looks like we want an article tag in here, and we did put in the aside and sections. Okay, so let's see. I'm just kind of flying in the dark here, so. Okay. All right. We'll look again at what the thing is supposed to look like when it's done. Okay, I'm butting up against 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop right now.